Om Gyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Iti Namine Prema Bhakti Rasanandam Kripa Sindhu Mamananam Pragyapayantam Vande Sri Bhakti Vedanta Narayanam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Bhaktya Vihina Paradalakshay Kshiptascha Kamaditeranga Madhye Kripamayi Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Numaste Charanarvindam Tavai Vasmi Najiva Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantike. So, on this most auspicious disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, I pray at the lotus feet of my Gurudev Paramaradhyatama Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and at the lotus feet of my Nama Guru and Shiksha Guru Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and all of my Guru Varga, especially my worshipable senior God brothers, God sisters like Pujapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Tirth Maharaj. He could speak on any topic for hours, and he could speak with so much ras. Srila Gurudev arranged to have the annual Rupa Goswami festival every year, and this would go on in Vrindavan at Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. And so much Hari-katha was given glorifying Srila Rupa Goswami. Why is this so important? There are many people nowadays who say, oh yes, I am a Gaudiya Vaishnava, I am a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Or sometimes they say, oh, I belong to this organization. It is a Gaudiya Vaishnava organization. But there is one thing that is very important. Now, there is one question. Are we followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or are we followers of Sri Rupa Goswami? Which is it? That's right. And the word is Rupanuga. Madhuryojvala Premadhya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. This is one of the pranam mantras for Paramaradhyatama Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He gave Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya, what is enriched with the prem of Madhurya Ras. Not just Madhurya Ras, but what is Ujjvala, the Ujjvala Madhurya Ras, the Mahabhav, Mahabhava Swarupini Shri Radha. She is the embodiment of Mahabhav, the topmost love. Now, here's another question. Can anyone who is in the Jiva category, can anyone taste Radha Bhav? Can anyone experience Radha Bhav? Is it possible? No, it is not. Those who are Kaya Vyuha of Srimati Radhika, they can taste something of Mahabhav up to a certain point. But Jivas cannot. And so, Swabhakti Shriyam. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for 3 primary reasons. What are those reasons? Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Ki Drishova. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Ki Drishova. Nayaiva swadhyayena bhuta madhurima kidrishova madhya saukyam chasya madanubhavataha kidrisham vedilobhat tadbhavadhya samajani sachi garbha sindhau harindu. 3 reasons. 1, to know the greatness of the pranaya, of the love of Srimati Radhika. 2, to know the sweetness that she alone tastes in him. Krishna is the essence of all sweetness, but Sri Radha tastes a particular sweetness. Krishna wants to know, what is it like? And what is the 3rd thing? What is the happiness that Srimati Radhika alone experiences? Krishna considers something. I experience unlimited happiness being with Srimati Radhika, but her happiness being with me is even greater. And I cannot understand this. Who is saying this? This is the Supreme Personality, the Paramapurush, Rasika Shekhar, the supreme enjoyer of transcendental mellows. I do not know this. So these are things that Krishna himself doesn't know and wants to come, taking the Kanti and Bhav of Srimati Radhika. So, Swabhakti Shriyam. What's Swabhakti Shriyam? So, Shri Radha Bhakti. What Shri Radha is tasting, how she is doing, how she is serving Krishna. We say serving, it is a simple word, but serving means so much. It means giving in love, receiving in love. To say bhakti, Guru Maharaj used to give the translation, bhakti, as devotional service. It is something we can use as a starting point to understand bhakti. But bhakti means there is a 2-way exchange. There is a sambandh. Bhakti is never just an exchange. Oh, I'm doing a service. This is my service. I am doing a service. As if it is karma yoga. In karma yoga, there can be a service. We can do something. Oh, I am going to bring this. I'm going to give this. I have made a table for Krishna. Very good. Now, here's the table. Take it. But it is done with love in bhakti. It is done with a sense of sambandh. Oh, I am making a table for my Krishna, for my Radha Govinda, for my Thakurji. I am doing this for my. And there must be a sense of mamata. So what is the mamata that Sri Radha has for Krishna? It is completely captivating. Devi Krishna Mayi Prokta Radhika Padadevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanta Sammohini Smrita. She completely possesses the ability to enchant Sri Krishna. Smaragarala Kandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Bhadapallavanmudaram. Oh, my head is suffering. It is broken by the poison of separation from you. Who is saying this? Shri Krishna. Govinda ji is saying in Gita Govinda, he is saying to Kishori ji, Shri Radha, please put your feet on my head, my poor head, which is suffering so much, and then I will be happy. So how Shri Radha is serving Krishna, this is something that is beyond our ability to understand, but Swabhakti Shriyam. The Shriyam is the, Gurudev has sometimes said, the sprinkles. So it is like there is a Niagara Falls of ras, and we get a little bit of the spray. This is called Palyadasi Bhav. Now, how we can have any inkling of Palyadasi Bhav, it is because of Srila Rupa Goswami. So, this is very essential tattva of our Gaudiya Vaishnava line. How to serve Krishna, how to love Krishna. There are so many devotees of Krishna. And among so many devotees, many devotees who are in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And some who are followers of Sri Gauri Ras Pandit, who embrace Sakya Ras. But there is a very specific line called Rupanuga. Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida. What does Rupanuga Bhakti mean? It means to perform Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti has a specific definition. Raganuga Bhakti means we are doing bhakti, we are following rules and regulations, but it is not Vaidhi Bhakti. It is Raganuga Bhakti because we are following in the footsteps and having an aspiration for the bhakti that is done by the Ragatmika Bhaktas, eternal associates in Braj. So there must be a sense of sambandh, relationship. There must be anugatya. There must be following of the Guru who has realized the ras. There is a term, Krishna consciousness, we've all heard it. What is the meaning? Where does it come from? Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita mati kriyatam yadikuto bhilabhyate tatra lalyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritairna labhyate. Who has written this verse? Srila Rupa Goswami. Krishna bhakti ras. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. When the mind is fully absorbed in the ras of Krishna bhakti, this is the core of what we call Krishna consciousness. And tatra lalyam api mulyam ekalam. Lalyam, or intense greed, is the sole price. Not even 10 million births of Sukriti, 10 million births of pious. I was hearing somebody speak, somebody was saying, well, you know, if we had, he was talking about things that happened after Srila Prabhupada, my Namaguru Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, after he left this world, he was saying, if we had just sat down and read his books and done all these things, then we would have been purified. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to have sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha nama kirtan bhagavata shravana matoravasa shrimurtir shraddhaya seva. So sadhu sangha, association of pure devotees, is absolutely essential. Lalyam, greed, is absolutely essential. We must have intense greed. And kripa is required. Sometimes people are confused nowadays and they say, oh, I could be kripa siddha. I could just be walking down the street and somebody will throw a bag of money out of a car and I'll have $1 million in my hand. Well, it's possible this can happen, but it's kind of a stupid plan, right? Yeah, usually you get a job, you work, then maybe you save some money, you invest and you do that, and you make a plan if you want to be rich. Similarly, if you want to have prema dhan, you will beg and weep and cry, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Who are we begging to? We are begging to Gurudev. We are begging to Nityananda Prabhu, who has manifested in the form of my Gurudev. And my Guru is giving me, I am begging, please. And I am begging Harinam, please, please, please cleanse my aparad, my offenses, and let me have let bhakti come in my heart. And completely avoid aparad, aparadha, that which takes us away from Shri Radha. That is aparad. We must avoid this. So, this is all meant to grow the bhakti creeper. Again, who has given 2 verses? Adao Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sango Atabhajana Kriya Tato Nartan Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchi Stada Tata Saktis Tato Bhava Tata Premabhyudanshati Sadhakana Mayam Premna Pradhur Bhave Bhavet Kramaha. Who has written these 2 verses? Yes. And there is a book which the entire book is just giving the expanded explanation of these 2 verses. That is Madhurya Kadamani by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Just to expound 2 verses of Srila Rupa Goswami. So what has Srila Rupa Goswami done? What has Srila Rupa Goswami contributed? He has given us the A to Z. Adao Shraddha. Gurudev has explained that Shraddha may first come. The word Shraddha is one of these very tricky words. If someone tries to translate Shraddha as faith, okay, that's all right. It's like a starting point. It's like an approximation, right? For example, if I wanted to describe to a small child a 747, I'd say, you have a little paper airplane that you throw. It's kind of like that, but much, much bigger. So the paper airplane's a starting point for the 747, okay? But the little kid doesn't really understand it, and there's a lot of things that are very hard to understand. Similarly, in bhakti, there are so many things that are very difficult. When I first met my Gurudev, I asked him, because it was always a big thing. Many people advertise themselves as pure devotees. They said, oh, look, I am imitating Prabhupada. I am a pure devotee. You can worship my lotus feet. You can do my Guru Puja in front of the deities. And it will be very good and awesome. And you can, when you are singing Shri Radhika Madhavi or Apara, somehow or other that applies to me. Oh, please. What were the results of that? Not good. I asked Gurudev, I said, Gurudev, how do we know whether someone is actually spiritually elevated or not? Gurudev said, it is like, I cannot explain this to you. It is like trying to tell a little baby girl how she will become a mother. She has to grow up, she has to mature. So what I understood he is explaining, you have to mature. You have to mature in bhakti. You have to realize everything by the grace of Harinam, by the grace of Gurudev, and by the grace of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has given all these things. We have to understand all of these things in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is our paribhasha? What is our definition of pure bhakti? What is the verse that defines pure bhakti? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. And just as Vedavyas has given the so many Vedic literatures, and then they have been expanded by commentaries of the acharyas, we have other acharyas who also have given us commentaries to understand what Srila Rupa Goswami has written. Because in this one verse, there is so much. How much is in this verse? Oh, Srila Gurudev has explained. What is the meaning of anukulyena Krishna anushilanam? In these two things, there is so much that defines the pure bhakti, what it is. The example is given. Krishna is drinking milk at the breast of Mother Yashoda. But her milk is not ordinary milk. It is not lactation milk. It is liquid vatsalya prem. And Krishna, does Krishna care about having ordinary milk? No. Does Krishna want vatsalya prem in liquid form? Oh, yes. He is greedy for it. And he is manifesting himself like a tiny baby. And his tummy cannot be filled by this. He wants more. He wants more, and he wants more. And there is a competition going on between the tiny little tummy of baby Krishna and the Vatsalya Prem of Yashoda Maya. Now, Yashoda Maya also has some milk on the stove. And so that milk is to be made into sweets like rasgulla, sandesh, rasmalai, rabri, all of these very beautiful milk sweets. And what milk it is? Oh, Yashoda Maya has special grass, and she feeds special grass to her special cows, and she milks those special cows herself. So she has amazing milk. You know, like we've had milk from the Hari-katha Ruchira farm. It's just completely amazing. Imagine how much more that is than Walmart organic milk. Imagine that. And to such a high level, you cannot even imagine. And it is in the spiritual world from Surabhi cows. And Yashoda Maya herself is milking the cows that she is feeding herself. And that milk is there. That milk is conscious. And that milk is thinking. This competition is going on between Brajendra Nandan Sri Krishna and Yashoda Maya herself, who is the embodiment of Vatsalya Prem. I have no chance in this. I shall enter the fire and give up my life. And so that milk was going to make the dive into the fire, climbing out of the pot. Oh, Yashoda Maya saw this. No. My breast milk is not sufficient for Krishna. Krishna must be nourished by all of the very beautiful sweets that I will make from this milk. And so she tried to put Krishna. Did Krishna want to let go? No. How was he holding on? With his mouth, with his two hands, with his feet. And this is the same Krishna that Putana, who had the strength of 10,000 elephants, could not dislodge. But Yashoda Maya very easily put him down. Now, was Krishna pleased by this? Oh no. His eyes became reddish like the rising sun. His lower lip began to tremble, and he became determined to do some very, very naughty activities. Of course, we know of this Damodara Lila. So this is given as an example because Yashoda Maya was doing this for only Krishna's benefit, only to please Krishna, but it was not pleasing to Krishna, but for Krishna's ultimate benefit. This has been explained by Srila Jiva Goswami in the commentaries there. Similarly, when Krishna and Baladev entered the arena in Mathura, and they came in carrying the tusks of the newly slain Kuvalayapida, and they were looking really handsome, and all of the ladies of Mathura were seeing Krishna, and their hearts were all aflutter. Oh, everyone was seeing Krishna. The Brajavasis were seeing Krishna, and they were saying, oh, it is our dear, beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj. It is unfair that these big, nasty wrestler dudes, Chanura and Mushtika, will be opposing them. But Krishna and Balaram were just looking forward to the sport. Oh, I have wrestled with my cowherd boyfriends. Now I will get to wrestle with these big, tough guys. Let's see how tough they are. And Krishna was wrestling with Chanura, and Baladevji was wrestling with Mushtika and experiencing so much pleasure. But this was not pure bhakti, because they had the intention to kill Krishna under the direction of Kamsa. So Srila Rupa Goswami has given, in this one verse, this entire paribhasha of pure bhakti. And Acharyas Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or Gurudev, they have all given explanations of things that have been written by Srila Rupa Goswami. So the position of Srila Rupa Goswami in our line is supreme, is paramount. Now, there are so many pastimes of Srila Rupa Goswami. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing at Ratha Yatra, he was experiencing the mood of Shri Radha. No one could understand what Mahaprabhu was saying. He was dancing in front of the Rath cart, and he was reciting, Ya Kaumara Hara Sa Eva Hivarastha Eva Chaitra Kshapas Te Chonilita Malati Surabhaya Praudakarambanila Sa Chaivasmi Tatapi Tatra Surata Vyapara Lila Vadhau Revaro Dhasi Vetasi Tarutale Cheta Samutkantate. That very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. No one could understand. This verse is from a book of mundane poetry. But Mahaprabhu, why he was reciting it, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami understood it. But there was one other person there. Who was that person? Srila Rupa Goswami. And Srila Rupa Goswami, after some time, he had written another verse, and he had given the explanation of this verse in this other verse that he wrote. I am the same Radha, you are the same Krishna, because this is referring to when Srimati Radharani met Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And there were so many obstacles because there were horses and chariots and elephants and kings and warriors and armies. And there was no opportunity to express any love, even to exchange glances. It was not possible. Such high obstacles. Now, sometimes persons do not understand parikiya bhav. What is parikiya bhav? Parikiya bhav means that I have so much love and affection for Sri Krishna, but I cannot claim the status of being married to Krishna. That is swakiya bhav. Sometimes acharyas have steered persons away from parikiya bhav, because if we view parikiya bhav with a mundane sentiment, we will make aparad. Because the bhav of the gopis for Krishna is compared to gold, and the lust in mundane affairs, love between the partners in this world, this is compared to iron, a very crude quality, very common and dirty. And to come to this standard, to understand the love of the gopis for Krishna is so high. Only we can come by the grace of Harinam. So not by artificially trying to imagine, oh, I am now the maidservant of Sri Radha. I have gone and gotten some mantra and now immediately I am a Radha Dasi. Because the problem is we have prakrita ras. What is prakrita ras? We taste something in enjoying this material world. Now, we cannot become free from prakrita ras by shushka vairagya. What is shushka vairagya? Dry renunciation. It's not possible. If you try to do that, you will simply become hard-hearted. At the same time, if you mix your prakrita ras with the ideas of spiritual affairs, it becomes sahajya. And then there is aparad. And it is not beneficial, not helpful for us. So Srila Rupa Goswami has given everything, and he has given in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he has given us Upadeshamrita. Vacho vegam manasakrodha vegam jihva vegam udaropasta vegam etan veganyo veshaheta dhira sarvam api mam pritavim sashishyat. There is a thing that is not understood, because some devotees would hear this and they would think, oh, I have to become a Goswami and I will be a sannyasi and I will be renounced and then I can be Jagat Guru. No, it doesn't work that way, Baba. You have to, but you should start, understand, senses are not your friends. Sharira avidyajal, jodendriyatai jiva phale vish sagure, tar madhe jihva ati. Ataha Sri Krishna namani nabhavid grahyam indriyahe, sevon mukhe hi jihva dao, swayam eva spurati adaha. Krishna, his name, his pastimes, his form, his activities, these are all beyond the realm of our mind and senses. So we leave aside all such considerations. And we should vikriditam brajavadhu biridam cha vishno shraddhanvito nusranuyad atavarnayedya bhaktim param bhagavatim pratilabdya kamam hridrogam ashivo hapinoti achirena dhira. This verse was spoken for all the people who are anti-Hari-katha. The anti-Hari-katha people say, oh, we should only read Bhagavad Gita, we should not hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, that is not in the line of Guru Maharaj, that is not in the line of Gurudev, because Guru Maharaj said back in 1970, let us distribute Krishna book everywhere. So he gave Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, dancing with gopis who are his consorts, his Shakti. And he said, let's distribute this to all the hippies and the dippies and the saddies and waddies and faddies and make everybody happy. Because If we hear with faith, if we hear from the appropriate person, this will cleanse the heart. This will cleanse the heart. And we will make advancement on the path of bhakti. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he heard this verse and he wrote that verse in response. He wrote it on a palm leaf and he went to bathe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went looking for Srila Rupa Goswami. Oh, he found this verse, he read that verse, and he said, how is it that Rupa has understood my mind? Nobody could understand what I was saying, only Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. Now, who is Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami? Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Devi in Krishna Lila. And Sri Ramananda Roy is Vishaka Saki. So, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami understood, and who is foremost in the Gana of Lalita Devi, Shri Rupa Manjari. So, the meaning of this, Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Shai Mora Sampada. Oh, the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Manjari, this is my treasure. I treasure this so much. Srila Das Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he has written, Shri Rupa Manjari Kararchita Pada Padma. Oh, Shri Radha is quite fatigued. She has been enjoying pastimes in the forest all night with Sri Krishna. Now she is lying down and I am massaging her feet and legs. No, Sri Rupa is massaging her feet and legs. I am looking on hungrily, desiring some remnants of her service. So this is Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. This is such a high sentiment and high aspiration, but the common thing, it is the aspiration for service, that which is meant for the pleasure of my beloved, as Palyadasi. So, Srila Rupa Goswami gave the concept of pure bhakti, and especially that bhakti, Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Varagena Ya Kalpita, that which is done by the gopis, Vraja gopis. And Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has shown how to be a Rupanuga, how to follow in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami, how to aspire for the service in the line of Sri Rupa Manjari. Because our mundane senses, mind, intellect, they're not able to reach. Natam starkena yojayat. You cannot understand, you cannot take apart the Supreme Personality. Swayam eva spurati adaha. Only when we engage in service, beginning with the tongue, by doing Harinam, taking only prasad, avoiding any criticism of others, and chanting always, then it will be revealed within the heart. So this has been described. Srila Rupa Goswami has given us everything. Now Mahaprabhu, reading this verse of Srila Rupa Goswami, was so happy and he embraced Srila Rupa Goswami. How you have understood this? I give you blessings to spread Sankirtan movement. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. May I have the shelter of the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, who understood the Manobhishta, the heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, there were three brothers, Rupa, Sanatan, and Vallabha, also called Anupama, who was the father of Srila Jiva Goswami. And they originally came from Karnataka and settled in West Bengal, in Ramakeli. And they were engaged in the service of the Nawab, who saw, oh, they are so intelligent, so highly qualified, and I want to have them in my service. He gave them the names Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. And then Sri Rupa and Sanatan came to see Mahaprabhu at Gaya, and then Sri Rupa Goswami was able to escape his government service. Sri Sanatan Goswami ended up in jail. This is another very long narration. How it was arranged for him to escape and come join the service of Mahaprabhu. But Srila Rupa Goswami, he now was writing so many literatures, and he also received instruction from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are 5 pran of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is one chapter in Adi Lila, instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami, instructions to Sanatan Goswami, the pastimes at Ratha Yatra, which we were reading from, where Mahaprabhu is dancing, and Ramananda Samvad. So, after Mahaprabhu's disappearance, Srila Rupa Goswami stayed in Vrindavan, and there would be a sabha in the courtyard of Radha Damodar temple, what is now it is all built over and built up so much, but at that time it was just very simple. There was a little hut there, but we go there. This is like the center of our movement, like headquarters. Do we need to have a big organization and big massive temples and all these things? No, everything started with just some very high-class devotees sitting and discussing Hari-katha and debating. And those persons, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. What things were they discussing? That place where they have discussed these things, this is like the place where we go and we can beg for kripa, beg for mercy. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami was also, there was always someone who wanted to come and present a different idea. There was this one person, Vallabhacharya, who was somewhat senior, and he was a little proud, and he came to Mahaprabhu, and he said, oh, I have written one commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is even better than Sridhar Swami. Mahaprabhu said something. He said, oh, I consider someone who is not faithful to her Swami no better than a prostitute, because he was making a play on the name Sridhar Swami. But this same Vallabha, later he came to Sri Rupa Goswami. He wanted to claim that he is a great, like Jagat Guru, Acharya, big person, and he said, I want to debate. Sri Rupa Goswami was engaged in bhajan. He had no interest in debating. What is the point? What I will debate. Guru Maharaj had a very nice saying. It is so applicable in this day and age. You cannot wake up someone who's pretending to be asleep. Yeah? Is it true? It is so true. You cannot wake up someone who's pretending to be asleep. No, stop shouting. I can't hear you. This is the situation. But Srila Rupa Goswami, he simply had no time. He could easily debate. He could defeat anyone. But he said, okay, you want me to sign a paper saying I've been defeated? Here you go. Go now. I'm going to go back to my bhajan. But he was going and showing this around Vrindavan. He met one very young boy who was practically a teenager. His name was Jiva Goswami. He said, oh, what is this? He said, oh, look, see, I have a certificate that I have defeated Rupa Goswami. Srila Jiva Goswami said, oh, really? Is that so? What you have said? And he, point by point, systematically dismantled and destroyed all of Vallabhacharya's ideas. Vallabhacharya was so humiliated, and as he was leaving, he went to Rupa Goswami and he said, oh, your nephew, disciple, he is so very intelligent. And he went away. And Srila Rupa Goswami could understand that despite him telling Jiva Goswami not to say anything to Vallabhacharya, he did in fact. Because Srila Jiva Goswami could not tolerate that this person was making it out that, oh, I know better than Srila Rupa Goswami. No, it was not tolerable to Srila Jiva Goswami. So he brought the full firepower of the Jiva Goswami, Nyaya and Vyakarana, every type of knowledge. Imagine this, that same Jiva Goswami who wrote 400,000 verses of Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva Siddhant, entire Bhagavata Sandarbha, everything, and who is going to stand up to him in debate? But Srila Rupa Goswami was inwardly very pleased that Sri Jiva Goswami did this, but outwardly he showed, you disobeyed me, go away, I don't want to see you again. Sri Jiva Goswami was so distraught. He went to stay in Bhayagaon and he stayed in a cave with crocodiles and snakes. And it was only after some time that Sri Sanatana Goswami was traveling around Braj and some villagers told him, oh, Baba, there is one young Baba who is staying in this cave and he is so thin and so sickly, we are afraid he may die. He went and told Sri Rupa Goswami, and then he was allowed to come back. There is another narration. Srila Rupa Goswami once wrote a verse. He wrote this verse that the braid of Shri Radha is like a black cobra snake, like very black, glossy, sinuous, with almost like having a life of its own. He used to show every verse that he wrote to Sri Sanatana Goswami. Sri Sanatana Goswami was his elder brother, and he would get input. Who is Srila Rupa Goswami going to show these things to and get some feedback? So Sri Sanatana Goswami read this. He said, what is this? You have said that Swamini Kishori Ji's hair is like cobra snakes. This cannot be right. Sri Rupa Goswami said, okay, let me think how I will change that. Then Sri Sanatana Goswami went to bathe in the Yamuna. As he was coming back, he saw there was a very beautiful young Brajavasi girl who was swinging back and forth on a swing with her friends. And they were laughing. And he saw that there was a snake in her hair, a cobra. He said, Lali, Lali. And he said, he wanted to say, but then he looked and he saw this was actually her braid. It was her hair. And then he understood. But he went again to look, and he wanted to show Sri Rupa Goswami, but there was nobody there. It was only forest. So Sri Sanatan Goswami got darshan of Rishabhanu Nandini, Sri Radha. And so it was known that what Srila Rupa Goswami wrote was, in fact, correct. Srimati Sri Radha has, her braid is so beautiful and glossy, and it is decorated, and it is like a serpent which is ready to bite Krishna. And Krishna becomes bitten, and he becomes like a mad person. So, Sri Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, at this time, they were staying in one part of Braj. I forget the name of that place, but it is like, we go there on parikrama, and there was, at least when I went there with Gurudev, it was just a very, very small place, and it is kind of in the middle of nowhere. And this is the place where now maybe it has been developed around there or something, but Sri Rupa and Sanatan were staying there and doing bhajan. And there was not even a hut there or anything. And the Srila Rupa Goswami was chanting, and the sun was very, very hot, so hot. And he felt, oh, there is some shade has come. But he was just too much absorbed in his bhajan. He did not look up, he did not see anything. But Sri Sanatan Goswami saw. He saw that Kishoriji, Rishabhanu Nandini, Sri Radha, was standing holding her dupatta over the head of Sri Rupa Goswami to keep the sun off of his head. So Sri Sanatan Goswami said, oh, you know, this is what I saw. And then they said, oh, we should make a hut. We don't want our Devi, she should not come and do our service in this way. This would be unacceptable. So they made a hut so that sun would not be on their head. On another occasion, it was the Avirbhav Titi of Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan, or it was Avirbhav of Sri Sanatan Goswami. And Srila Jiva Goswami wanted to offer some kheer, sweet rice. But there were no ingredients. He thought, well, if ingredients come, I can make it. If no ingredients, I can offer in the mind. Because offering can be done in the mind, especially if someone is deeply absorbed in bhajan. In our neophyte stage, it is always best for us to have engagement and do something tangible and keep ourselves busy, and not to try to imagine that we can just easily do things in our mind. And then we may become a little bit lazy. And laziness is not helpful for sadhak. It won't help us to be sober. If too much lazy may make us too much crazy. So, the Sri Sanatan Goswami was doing his bhajan there, and then a very beautiful young Brajvasi girl dressed like a new bride came, and she brought some milk and rice and ghee and sugar. He had not gone begging or anything like that. And she sat there for some time. But he was deeply absorbed in bhajan. He was thinking, I will do this later. I will do this later, but I must chant. But then she began to make, she arranged a fire, and very, very quickly she arranged a fire. She put a pot. Very quickly she made the kheer, and then it was done. And then Sri Rupa Goswami came and he saw, oh, look, this kheer has been made. And Sanatana Goswami said, yes, this young Brajvasi girl came and she made it. And he said, oh, let us offer this. So it was offered to Radha Govindji. And the taste was so divine. And then they understood, oh, Kishori ji herself came and made this. So this is the extraordinary character of Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has written such extraordinary poetry. There is no comparison. No one can compare to poetry that is in Stavamala and other collections, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava. So much of poetry of Srila Rupa Goswami has been given in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. These verses like Anarpita Charim Chadat Karanaya Vatirna Kalau, written by Srila Rupa Goswami, or Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishovan Gaiva, written by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, he has also written many verses in very unusual and difficult meters. There is one with 27 syllables per pada. Yamalarjuna Bhanjanam Ashrita Ranjana Mahiganjana Ganalasya Bharam Pashupala Purandaram Abhishta Kandaram Ati Sundaram Aravinda Karam Brajagopa Vajujana Viruchita Pujana Muruku Janama Navavenudaram Rasana. Anyway, I forget the third line, but a fourth, but it is saying that Krishna is the person who broke the twin Arjun trees. He is the one who gives delight to his devotees who take his shelter. He has movements like a serpent, which is saying two different things. One is that Krishna can move in very crooked ways and he can be very artful in his movements. Secondly, that Krishna himself can be very crooked in his dealings and he's not straightforward. Ganalasya Bharam, and he has the complexion like a fully laden rain cloud, a rain cloud which is full of water. Like we see now in the rainy season, sometimes the clouds are very dark. So this is some of the poetry of Srila Rupa Goswami. He has not written these things like someone who makes things up, who imagines, oh, I wonder what Krishna would be like. No, this is all from darshan. This is all giving from what has been seen, what has been witnessed, what has been experienced. So, on the occasion when Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, when he came to Vrindavan, and Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami had all disappeared, they had left this world, and he was feeling so much lamentation. He wanted to give up his body, but he was prevented. He wanted to jump from Govardhan Hill. And that is when he wrote Vilap Kusumanjali. And this is the mood of separation from Srila Rupa Goswami. Sometimes the question is asked, why do we celebrate the Tirobhav of great acharyas, great devotees? What is the reason? Why do we say this is the Tirobhav Mahotsava? Why is it a festival of disappearance? What is the reason for that? We are feeling so much separation. But when these devotees, eternal devotees, are going to rejoin Radha and Krishna and Mahaprabhu, oh, there is such a big festival welcoming them back. This is the Mahotsav. So we are just trying to take part in the Mahotsav, welcoming them back. So this is the disappearance of Srila Rupa Goswami, and on this day we ask for his blessings. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahu Morash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. Oh, I want to understand by the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Raghunath. I pray that this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita should be successful. This is the mood of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Rupa Raghunath, or Sri Rupa Sanatan. This is very important. Why? Why are we so much, why is it so important to talk about Sri Rupa Sanatan? That's right. But what specifically, what is the specific thing about Sri Rupa and Sanatan? Srila Sanatan Goswami is the Acharya of Sambandha Gyan. And Shri Radha Madan Mohan. So we sing in the Mangala Charan. Jayatam Suratau Pangur Mama Mandamater Gati Mat Sarvasva Param Bhojau Radha Madana Mohana. So this is the Sambandhadidev. Sambandhadidev means who is the Lord of Sambandha. We must start with Sambandha. We must start by understanding I am very fallen, but I have a relationship. I am the eternal servant. And it is my position to be in the service of Radha and Krishna. Ainandatanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam bhudao kripaya tava pada pankajastitaduli sadrasham vichintaya. O son of Nanda Maharaj, I have fallen in this material world. Please pick me up from this ocean of birth and death and fix me as one of the particles of dust on your feet. Now, sometimes people take a non-shastric interpretation and say, oh, look, here's evidence that we fell from the spiritual world. No. No such thing. We are fallen. We have fallen. Aruhya kritrena padam tataha padantiyadho nadrata yushmadangraya. We can go even to the Brahmajyoti by practicing yoga, or by being a demon who is killed by Bhagavan. But we won't stay forever. It's not a place of permanence. We may have come originally from the Tatastha region, and we have fallen, and we fall again, and we go up, and we fall again. Why? Because we have not actually surrendered. Even if we want to go to Vaikuntha, there has to be a sense of sambandha. There has to be initiation into a Vaishnava Sampradaya. You can go to the Sri Sampradaya, and they will tell you, you can take initiation, you can do Sharanagati, and your next birth, you can take birth in a Brahmin family, and then we will give you proper initiation. And then after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes, if you follow all the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti and follow all the rules, and did we mention rules? And you must know all the rules, then you can go to Vaikuntham. And there you can see the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vaikuntapati Narayan, and you can say, Jaya Narayana Prabhu. Okay. That is the process. There is no going to Vaikuntha like, hey, here's a rasgulla. Take this rasgulla in your hand and eat it, and boom, magic pill, and you go to Vaikuntha. But we're fallen. Even if we go up to Brahman realization, we fall again. But if someone has gotten shelter of the Swarup Shakti, there is no fall. Even that person who has come to the stage of Rati or Bhav, that person will not fall. Oh, you say, what about Bharat Maharaj? Bharat Maharaj was still under the shelter of Swarup Shakti. He was under the shelter of Yogamaya, and his fall was temporary. It was a temporary setback. And it was also done to show sadhaks that we should not be alone. We should be in association, and we should do bhajan, not alone by ourselves, but we should stay in association of pure devotees. And that we should not become attached, not to a deer, not to even our japamala or a car or a building, or a title or anything. We should only be attached to service of Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu. So this is Sambandha. So Sambandha means that we come in the stage of understanding that I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And servant does not mean dasya bhav. It means my business is to give pleasure to Krishna. You remember that Narada Muni once went and saw Krishna in Dwarka, right? Krishna had a headache. Naradaji said, oh, Prabhu, what can I do for your headache? Krishna said, oh, Naradaji, the only cure for my headache will be the dust of the feet of my devotees. Naradaji said, okay, immediately I will go. He went and he found there was a sabha of devotees, Brahman devotees, and they were glorifying Krishna. He said, hey, hold on, stop. Krishna has a headache, and to cure his headache, he needs the dust of your feet. And the devotees were horrified. They said, we cannot do that. If we give the dust of our feet to Dwarkadish, we will go to hell. It is wrong. So Naradaji went back to Krishna, and he was a little sad. He said, oh, Krishna, I asked devotees and they wouldn't give. They said, it will be aparad, we will go to hell. We cannot do this. Krishna said, oh, Naradaji, go ask Vraja Gopis. So Naradaji went to Vraj. He told Gopis, he said, Krishna has a headache, and he wants the dust of your feet so that his headache will be cured. Immediately, Gopis began scraping the dust from their feet, and so much dust was accumulated, it made a big mountain. Naradaji was surprised. He said, are you not concerned that giving the dust of your feet? Because we don't step over anyone. We don't even cross over. If someone is sitting with their legs stretched, we will go around. We never step over someone's body. It will shorten the duration of life of the person you are stepping over. In Vedic culture, it is not done. You don't touch your feet to someone. So Naradaji was asking the gopis why, and they said, oh, we don't mind. We can go to hell, but let Krishna's headache be cured. So this is the selfless love of the gopis. From the most fundamental aspect, it is all about what will please Krishna. Ahaslishyava padaratam panashtumam adarshanan maramahatam karotuva yata tadha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananathas tusa evan napara. Krishna is my prananath. He is the Lord of my heart. Whether he crushes me by his embrace or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me, I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, as my Prananath. So this is such a very difficult thing to understand, but Srila Rupa Goswami has given it and made it easy. Srila Sanatana Goswami has given us one very important book, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. In reading Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we can understand through the journey of Gopkumar how one may actually go back home, back to Godhead. And what is the most essential thing? One must have Sadguru. One must have that Guru who has realization. Sadguru may be the person who is the Parikar, Nityasiddha. They may be the Sadhak who is very advanced in sadhana and who has realized, who has had realization of what is the goal of life. One cannot be a guru based on like, oh, you have been following regulative principles for 3 years or 4 years or something like that. No. Do you understand the prayojan? Do you understand sambandha? Can you explain abhideya? Do you understand what pure bhakti is? Do you understand all these things? When you find that person who is a true disciple, that person will at some point be a qualified guru. So this is very important. So first comes sambandha and then abhideya. What is abhideya? It is the functional relationship. How will I do, how will I perform the activities of bhakti? It is the same activities. I am doing activities of bhakti in this stage. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi, tad bhava lipsuna karya, vraja lokanu sarataha. This is the definition of Raganuga Bhakti, which has been given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi. The sadhaka in the sadhaka roop, in this life, and also in future life, because we are not thinking that this is a sprint and I'm going to get prem like a rasgulla that'll come in my hand. Just like you're not going to get, mukti to Vaikuntha like that. Even Ajamil, he had to go to Haridwar and do bhajan for some time. He had to go in association of Vaishnavas, and he had to also do some bhakti before he could complete his journey. We talk about Ajamil as if it was just all done, and Vishnu Dutas and airplane and boom, gone, but it wasn't quite like that. And certainly not getting prem just like that. Oh, here's my speed pass. I can jump the queue and go straight away. No. But in my next birth, I want to take birth in the Dham. I want to take birth in a family of pure Vaishnavas. I want to stay only in association of pure devotees, not become entangled in family life, not become entangled in so many things. Our bodies, this body is full of sin. It is full of sinful desire. You cannot just pretend it's not there. We need to have another birth that is more, it will be more pure. If our intentions are pure, if we chant sincerely, in our next life, we will have less sinful desire in this body. And we will have opportunity to go further in bhajan. This is not hopeless. This is full of hope. There is one kirtan. It is a favorite kirtan of Gurudev. Emonna durmati samsara bhitore pariyachino ami kono mahajane. Oh, my mind is so wicked. I am full of sinful desires and lust, anger, greed, the propensity to criticize others, all these things. But you are very kind. You have sent one of your own very near and dear as my Gurudev to help me. So this is part of the Abhideya, how we can act, how we can move forward, because the goal is not getting a bachelor's degree and master's degree and PhD and a really well-paying job. The goal is prem. The goal is residence in Goloka Vrindavan. The goal is that which is never, ever given. And by the grace of Srila Rupa Goswami, we have the opportunity for that. So it may take 2 lives, 3 lives, 4 lives. Who cares? We have been in this material world for countless lifetimes. And in the meantime, as we chant blissfully and we associate with devotees and we give up all of our other things naturally by hearing very sweet Hari-katha, then we will experience some happiness and we will continue to make progress. So this is Abhideya, and now Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Radha Govinda. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Sri Madratnagara Singhasanastau Sri Sri Radha Srila Govinda Devao Preshtalibi Sevyamana Smarami. I am meditating on Sri Radha Govinda seated on a jeweled throne. This is the Yoga Pit. Yoga Pit is that place which is the central place of pastimes in the Dham. And they are being served by all of their very near and dear ones, sitting beneath a desire tree. So Sri Rupa Goswami, his deities are Sri Radha Govinda. And then finally, Prayojan. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is Acharya of Prayojan. Sriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshi Vatatatastita Karshan Venus Swanair Gopir Gopinatha Shri Estunaha. Shri Gopinath, Shri Radha Gopinath. So there is so much to be said, and I think this is only scratching the surface somewhat. But any questions? Comments? Things that I missed? Yes, Prabhuji?
That Krishna comes as Mahaprabhu to experience the emotions, the power of the other. Now, we know that the Leela is going on from one universe to another. So clearly, Krishna has been tasting their rest for many, many times. Unlimited times.
Yes.
So why does he?
So just to repeat the question, this is a very good question. So if Krishna is doing pastimes in every universe, then Mahaprabhu is also coming. And once in a day of Brahma. So let me also ask this question. Is Krishna always doing Rasa Leela?
Yes.
Is Rasa Leela ever the same twice in a row? No. It is not like the person who's a diehard fan and goes to watch the same movie over and over again. Every time there is Rasa Leela. Now, third question. Will Krishna, coming as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the Kanti and Bhav of Vrishabhanu Nandini, will he ever reach the end of understanding the greatness, the sweetness, and the happiness? Ever? No. So I think this answers the question. Any other question?
I have a question.
Yes, Didi.
Gopal Bhatta Goswami is Guna Mandri. Guna Mandri is following Root Mandri. If we read Hari Bhakti Vilas, will we become Rupa Nuga Vaishnava from that?
Well, that's an interesting and tricky question. But consider this also. Hari Bhakti Vilas, why was Hari Bhakti Vilas written?
Well, Hari Bhakti Vilas is casting a very wide net. So the answer is no. Never, never, ever, ever, ever can anyone become a Rupa Nuga Vaishnava by reading Hari Bhakti Vilas only.
Yes.
And here's why. The Goswamis cast a wide net. So even Mandir herself, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is covered Dasya Ras, there is covered Sakya Ras, there is covered Vatsalya Ras, Vatsalya Ras has many types. There is covered Madhurya Ras of many types, including Swakya. So Rupa Goswami is casting a wide net there.
Yes.
Now in Hari Bhakti Vilas, an even wider net is being cast for Hindus in general, Vaishnavas of other sampradayas, people who are not actually fixed on one Ishtadev Vaishnavas. So this is why it's described. Gurudev gave the example, like when you're baking a cake, you put flour through a sieve. And in this sieve, Thakurji's going to see. No, we're going to swing. Oh yeah, okay, swimming, yeah. So you put flour through a sieve to get a very fine flour, to get all the contaminants out, get all the rough pieces out, the rocks and whatnot. If you put Rupa Nuga, this is why all Rupa Nugas are Radha Nugas, but not all Radha Nugas are Rupa Nugas.
Yes.
If you put Rupa Nuga Bhakti through a Radha Nuga, if you put Radha Nuga Bhakti through a Rupa Nuga sieve, and you sift out all of the other things, and you only come down to Pat Bhav Ichamai, which is Manjari Bhav, that is Rupa Nuga Bhakti. So unless, along with all of these other gruntas that you're reading, forget about astrology and tarot and varnashram and all of, I don't even have words for that. I mean words that could be said here, okay? But forget that. I'm not gonna drop any F-bombs, okay? But what I'm saying is, like, you get rid of all these things and then you come down to what actually it is that Rupa Goswami, Rupa Mandir herself was given. So on top of reading all of these other Gaudiya Grunthas even, because Hari Bhakti Vilas is a Gaudiya Grantha, but even on top of reading all these Gaudiya Grunthas, parallel, you must be reading Vilapakusha Manjali. Because in here, Das Goswami, who is the preeminent follower, the preeminent Rupa Nuga, he's Tulsi Manjari's Rati Manjari, he's the preeminent Rupa Manjari follower, is giving actually what it is to be a Rupa Nuga Vaishnava to Rupa Manjari in her Manjari form. Because there's two types. There's Rupa Nuga to Rupa Goswami in his Sadhak form, and Rupa Nuga to Rupa Manjari in her Manjari form. And this is actually what it means to be Rupa Nuga. Yes. So when Prabhuji mentioned that we have to take more births, who wants to take another birth? Like nobody. Yeah. Everybody objects to that. Yeah. But he described, like, because of, we have these habits, these vasanas and samskaras and sinful tendencies even, but even more than that, devotees are not clear on Rupa Nuga Bhakti, especially unless it's a khichdi being served. Mixing up. No mix-upping, says Sadhguru. Yeah. No mix-upping. Anyway, so the thing is this. This is why we have to take birth and birth and birth. Yes. So that our Rupa Nuga Bhajan concept becomes actually refined down to that rare, refined flour that we can finally bake the Rupa Manjari cake with. This is the reason. So I just wanted to add that on Rupa Goswami's. And like Gurudev always used to say, we drink from one well. the Rupa Rasa Koop. The Koop, the well of Rupa Swami's Ras, this Mandir.
Yes.
Because all other waters, the ocean has many animals living there. There's wrecked ships underneath. There's oceans underneath the bottom. There are all kinds of living entities, dirty. People are pooing and peeing when they go swimming. So we have to get rid of all of this. We have to get rid of what's in the rivers even. No rivers, no streams. Don't drink water from the rivers or streams of different types of mixed up bhakti. We drink from the Rupa Rasa Koop only. Only, and it's fantastic, I tell you. Anyway, okay. Radhe.
Thank you, Didi. Very well said. Very, very well said. I was only going to say, why was Hari Bhakti Vilas written? Because Mahaprabhu said, write a book and include how to observe Ekadashi and other things, and that's it. And it was not meant to be the definitive. But what you have said, this is great. That's definitely puts the... Yeah. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.